Hello, and welcome to the Lust Podcast Show, the show that is rated R for real and not PG for playing games. I am one of your hosts, the Boss Lady.
And I'm the D.O.C.
Coming with these glasses. Join us for our weekly conversations about life coaching and everything else. But we say get to know us what? Get to love us. This episode is sponsored by Cigar Junkies and CGS Educational Services. Make sure you check out our merch at cigarjunkies.com. And before we go into this next episode, D.O.C., how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been a great week. How about yourself?
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't got no complaints. No complaints at all.
Good.
Everything is good. Yes, sir. So, we're gonna jump into this 3-course meal, because y'all know that's what we do. 3-course meal. We start with our appetizer, hot topic. And so this was something that I wanted to talk about in the previous episode, but we had some other good topics. But I want to talk about this to the sports fans, because I saw this. What is up with Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James? Because LeBron James is your boy. I don't know. Stephen A. Smith, he just always just got on my nerve. I ain't gonna lie. So,
Who said LeBron was my boy?
I thought LeBron was your boy.
I'm a Laker fan.
Thought you was a LeBron
Not
fan.
LeBron. Y'all never rooted for LeBron. You know that. You know that.
So what were your thoughts on this? Because I ain't gonna lie. All I know is I didn't even know what was going on. I just happened to know I came home one day from work and I seen Stephen A. Smith going crazy. Like a 20-minute rant. And I was just like, what am I missing? What is going on?
Yeah. I think, real quick, for folks who don't know, LeBron walked up on Stephen A. doing a timeout at a game, and cussed the nigga out about what he had said to his son, all types of shit, and then Stephen A. didn't say shit, and then Stephen A. started talking shit. The next day on his show, talking about what he did and all this shit.
Oh, that's what it was.
So, but I think it's all bullshit. Both Stephen A. did it for ratings.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, because he got petty.
Yeah, he got super
with the
petty.
rent that I saw.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, he looked like a petty ass nigga. I'm sorry.
And then LeBron bogus as hell to even let that shit get to him. And then he know his motherfucking son ain't supposed to be in there. His son averaged
you know what I didn't like?
0 and 0.
Triple
that nigga only scored for the whole season. That nigga has only scored 51 points.
Oh, wow.
Total for the entire season.
Oh, wow.
The over and under was 50. And he got 51. That's it. I couldn't
But this is the thing now. I'm going to play devil's advocate for a hot second. Because LeBron probably did what any parent would have done if they could have gotten their child in that position. I think any parent.
That's like the nigga walking up on the referee during the game, because you don't do that shit, because he lucky Stephen ain't got no real niggas with him, because that can go super.
Oh
left.
Yeah, some real gangsters would have hollered at LeBron.
The nigga whether you 6'8", nigga, we gonna fold you.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true.
I'm just saying
that is so true. It could have went a whole different way if Stephen A. was different. If he was more gangster, if he had gangsters with him. You are so right. But this is what I didn't like.
Them niggas know who to pull that shit.
This is the one thing I did not like. I did not like the fact that LeBron James, and I'm just going to be honest, I hate to sound like this, but I hate the fact that he decided to address this on the White Man's Podcast when he could have did that with so many other different.
No, that was done on purpose.
Yeah, I know it was done on purpose, but I didn't like that. That's all I'm saying, is that he could have did that with a different podcast. He could have did that with he could have gave that interview to somebody else. And me personally, I don't think that it should have been with who it was. But hey, who am I to say?
LeBron has always been a fuck nigga to me.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you something. And I know right now.
LeBron fans gonna be mad.
Yes, but I've always said that I did not too much care for LeBron because he always whined to me. It's just like every time he used to play, like if he didn't get a foul, he was pouting. If he didn't. He was pouting. I know it's going to be one particular LeBron fan that's going to get mad at us talking about LeBron. But I think they both were petty. I think they were. Because LeBron wouldn't have ran up on some other people the way he ran up on Stephen A. Smith. That's all I'm going to say about that. How about next hot topic? And I don't really know much about this, but I just thought it was I just thought it was interesting that I had heard this the other day. Some rapper, Young Scooter, passed away. Well, died at 39 on his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
But the interesting thing that I had saw, like when I actually had read the article, was two things that I thought was interesting. One, they said he died from running from the police. Don't know what all that's about. But I did not know that this was the dude they were talking about. So a couple of months ago, the NBA had announced that Future Sierra's oldest son was Russell Wilson's son. And he didn't say it was Future. And so Young Scooter got on social media and was like, y'all tripping, that's Future's son, and all this. And what ended up happening was it ended up backfiring. So people end up getting on Young Scooter saying, how's you taking up for a deadbeat ass dad like Future? Like, that is Russell Wilson's son. What are you talking about?
That's not Russell Wilson's son.
It's not. But a lot of the fans...
How do we know he a deadbeat?
A lot of the fans were saying,
Has Sierra said he a deadbeat?
Don't take up for Future because that's going to make you look worse. But I just, in none of to say, I didn't even know that this dude was even a rapper. Young Scooter. I heard a whole bunch about it and I seen it and I was like, oh, that's sad. He died on his birthday at 39. Like, I never heard his music.
Young Scooter is Future's boy.
Well, I heard Future, Waka Flocka, they said Gucci. He tied in with all of them. But I just can't recall, a Young Scooter song that I know anything like that.
I know who he was.
I don't know about this. How about this last hot topic? Something that I thought was
Rest
hilarious.
in peace, Young Scooter.
Yes, rest in peace. Because the fact that, and I hope, I don't know the circumstances behind it outside of what they wrote, which is saying that he was running from the police when he died. So I hope it's nothing gonna come out that, police had anything to do with anything. I just, like you say, rest in peace. Last thing, speaking of rapper, Lil Durk released a new album. Didn't even know this. Literally released a new album last week while he's in prison. But he had fans going crazy because his trial starts. Well, his trial was supposed to start in January. It got pushed back to this October. But he's on social media telling fans that he's getting out soon. You think that's possible?
No.
Why
not? He's locked up for conspiracy for murder. No bond. They don't typically give niggas in jail for murder bond.
Hey, that's what I thought. But when I seen the comments saying that he gonna be getting out before the end of this year, I was just like, he must got some lawyers that I don't know about.
Well, I'm sure he got money. That's why he dropped the album. He got to get that money out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But, hey, nonetheless, Lil Durk, hey, I hope you figure it out, boy. That's
all them niggas crazy. Yellow Beezy, he locked up for conspiracy for Mo 3 murder. Yeah, man. I don't. Yeah, man. It's all off the chain.
Yeah, well, hey, I hope they figure it out. That's all I can say. On to our entree. But before we get there, let's just do a little recap for y'all who don't know, who may be just joining us. We have been on this journey to expose folks to what we call our book of game. For those who know, we've been married for 20 years, but been together 25 years, and we decided to dedicate a season to what we consider is our chapters, our chapters in what we call our book of life. And so last couple of episodes have been kind of fun, interesting, talking about laughing, love languages. We've talked about gratitude. We've talked about navigating conflict. We've talked about how navigating finances in a relationship, intimacy, sex, a little bit of everything. Now we're on to something that's kind of common, but I feel like we need to get this out here for everybody. And that is trying to meet all your partner's needs, because I think we're both here to tell y'all it ain't gonna never happen. It will never happen.
No doubt.
I feel like you could be a great partner without being your partner's everything. And to me, if a person say that that's the case, that's not the case. Because there's no way I can be his everything.
No. And I wouldn't expect you to.
There's no way. And you know why? Because there's this, when you do put somebody in that position to be everything, whatever, you have this pressure of being somebody's everything. And you see this more now than you did when we was coming up, courting each other, dating each other, whatever. And so I want to start off with you with just a question, and that is, where do you think this pressure that we see now in society, you're going to use your air quotes now, where do you think this pressure come from? You think it's movies, social media, your upbringing? Where do you think this whole concept of being someone's everything came from?
I don't know. What do you think? I mean, the pressure. I think society puts pressure on men. You get raised and thinking that traditional roles and following that sort of thing.
Okay, so you get
it goes back to what we talked about before with your family and how you raised.
Exactly, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point.
Yeah, but I don't think that's possible. I don't think you should.
I don't either. Now, I think a lot of pressure comes from, I ain't gonna always say personal upbringing, because sometimes you don't see some of this shit in your personal upbringing. I'm just being honest with you. Just some shit you just don't see. But for me, you kind of between movies, what you hear, what you see, like you say, society norms, all of the above, that tell you that as a woman, you're supposed to be everything to the people in your family. You're supposed to be everything to your kids. You're supposed to be everything to your husband, your significant other, your partner. You're supposed to be everything to your job and your career. You know, you're supposed to be everything to even yourself. So, at least for me, my whole thing of pressure to be everything, try to do everything, meet everybody's needs, specifically my partner, comes from this whole image of you literally need to do everything, be everything, all of the above. So for me, it's what I've seen, what's been kind of shoved down my throat as a norm of what I'm supposed to be. Society tells me I'm supposed to be everything. You know what? I'm
just saying. I always tell you that you shouldn't try to do that. You take on too many people's problems and they stuff, and you internalize that shit. And I think that's the issue. You try to be Superwoman, and that's the issue. I know. I don't try to do that. I don't. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You know? Of course, for your kids, you know, you go above and beyond, but then you learn over time that you have to pull back and let them do their thing. And you know, they're going to get a couple bumps and bruises along the way.
True.
That's part of learning or what have you. But
true.
Yeah, even in a relationship, like for example,
true.
One thing that I see guys do is they try to get their girl to be the therapist too.
Hey.
And that to me, that's wrong. I think as a man, you need to find an outlet, whether you go to therapy, you talk to your homies, you find another male that you can talk to that you trust, but to heap all that onto your woman, I think that's unfair.
I think it's a myth.
Because she'll listen.
But
she can't help you the way that another man could, I think.
But I think it's a myth to think that the one person that you with is going to be your best friend, going to be your lover, going to be your therapist, going to be your business partner, your financial partner, going to be this, going to be that. That person don't fit all them shoes. And this is the thing. I don't have a problem with a person. When you say therapist, it's only one part of that I kind of disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do feel like as a woman, you should be able to be a form of therapy for your man to a certain extent.
But what if she don't have the skills to assist you?
And sometimes it's not even about having the skills. Sometimes it's just about the person needing to talk it out and just need somebody just to listen. It's not even about having a skill. It's not even about having
active listening is a skill.
It is a skill, but at times, sometimes a person don't need all of that. A person just need to talk it out. They just need to hear it. Just to talk it.
I'm talking to you and I tell you this shit. And you know what women do? Because this was a conversation amongst the homies. They hold it against you. So when you talking it out and putting it on there, yeah, you weak ass nigga. Yeah, you was crying last week talking that shit about this and that.
I hear those
jokes. Go talk that shit to them motherfuckers.
I hear those jokes. But those jokes are not always that is not always the case that women will use what you tell them against you. I think that's a person, period, woman or man. I think people do that across the board. That's not just a woman doing that to a man. That's either or.
I'm talking about in this situation.
I don't think that's always the case.
Yeah, it is.
I tell you it is. There's a danger to trying to be somebody's everything, and there's a danger to trying to expect somebody to be everything. Because it's my thing. What happens when you try to be your partner everything and they still feel unfulfilled? Mm-hmm. What happens then?
You have issues.
I mean, how do you resolve that?
It depends on what the unfulfillment is coming from. Is it sex? Is it companionship? Is it finances?
So let me ask you this. Is it being codependent? Is it codependency? Or is it just trying to give somebody healthy support? Which one is it? Which one is it?
You tell me.
I think it could be a little bit of both. Mm-hmm. I tell you this, with certain people, it could be codependency. Yeah. I do think that. And I think you have to be careful with that because people can use that to manipulate you to get you to do things. I was reading a book about that. I didn't even realize that sometimes that happens when you deal with certain people.
They do what?
That they become codependent of you, and then they put demands and stuff on you, and then you end up trying to fulfill those demands, not even knowing that you even have to fulfill these demands, but because they're codependent of you.
Give me an example.
I can't say the name, but I know someone who has done that. It's not you.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But I know a relative that I know who has done that, has been codependent on another person.
What they do? Like, give me an example of, like, something that they do.
Like, they use a situation to get this person to do things for them.
Such as?
Like, it could be running errands. It could be running errands. And you're running errands because this person depends on you to do that. And you've allowed this person to depend on you in this way that now you feel like you have to do things for that person.
Mm-hmm. So you're getting used, like you said.
Yeah, and sometimes trying to be somebody everything, you can be used. That's the fucked up part about it. They take you for granted. But I also think that it's something to talk about when you talk about trying to be everything, because if you're trying to be somebody else's everything, what's your outlet?
Yeah.
Where your friends? Where your hobby? Where your self-care? Where's all that in the mix if you trying to be somebody else's everything?
Yeah.
And then this is my other thing. If you're trying to be somebody's everything and then I don't meet your expectations, are you going to be disappointed? Are you going to resent me now? Is that how that works?
That's typically like a little kid. They don't get their way.
So what if you tell me some stuff and you ask me to do some things and then I don't do them, but you see me doing stuff for everybody else?
Yeah, you're going to have an issue with that.
You're gonna feel a certain type of way. Now, let me ask you this. How do you balance? Like, loving a person, caring for a person, wanting everything for a person, but not being everything for a person? How you balance the two?
You communicate, and you let them know what you're going to do and not do, and what your bandwidth is.
What your bandwidth? You know what? That's a new term. Yeah. That's a new term that I think people need to start using more. Bandwidth. Yeah. I'm being honest.
Yeah, sometimes, like,
your bandwidth can run out. Yeah. Your bandwidth can get short. You have your moments. I don't care who you are. I had a moment recently. Yeah, you just your bandwidth. You just get tired.
Yeah,
you
really do. I got time for that shit, and you pull back.
So I have a question. Is it fair to put fulfilling your happiness on your partner?
Well, that's part of the responsibility. I would think if you're in a committed relationship, is that part of what they do is to make you happy, create happiness, whether that's through moments, hanging out, companionship.
Because I was told. Yeah. I was told.
And sometimes it's the simplest things. It's not your birthdays or holidays.
Because I know people who avoid being in relationships and stuff for that very reason. They don't want to be responsible for fulfilling somebody else's happiness.
Oh yeah, because it's a huge responsibility.
It is.
Every day.
It's a huge responsibility.
Every day every day you have to communicate to this person, with this person. And every day you may not you go through your moods. Just because that's a human behavior.
That's true.
And so You have to make sure that this person doesn't feel a certain way. That if you had a bad day at work, you don't project that onto them, vice versa. So and some people don't want that responsibility
because it's heavy. It's a heavy load. But I think that when you like the person, when you love the person, when you have a relationship with the person, that's a load that you're willing to carry. I think to a certain extent. I truly do. Because I think you can't be, as a partner, you can't be mentally exhausted.
Yeah.
And let me be clear, I'm not talking about a person that has mental health issues and they have episodes. That's not what I'm talking about. What I mean is that your partner keeps up so much bullshit, so much stuff that literally, like, every day they're taking you through something. Like, that's what I mean when I say that they just like, oh my God, like, mentally I just can't.
I love when my shit is boring. Because that means there ain't no drama going on. And some people live for that shit every fucking day. It's some shit going on. Some minor, some major, but it's something going on.
That is true.
Every day.
I think it's, like you said, I think it's fair to put part of your happiness on your partner. Because I feel like if I'm spending a lot of time with you, then you should be invested in happiness just the same way as I am with you, vice versa, and all that. But I'm going to say this, ladies and gentlemen, it is okay to say, I love you, but I can't be everything for you. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you tell a partner or somebody that, male or female, and you tell them that, they get upset with you about that, that may be a huge red flag.
And they may check out sometimes and you just get that person their space. It may not even be you.
Exactly.
Just get them their space. They had a bad day at work or just a bad day in general.
That's true.
And they don't want to project that negative energy on you. So just give them their space.
And ladies, this is why it is, and gentlemen too, this is why it's okay for your partner to have other emotional or social support systems and outside of you.
Yeah.
Now, ladies, I'm not saying that it's okay for your dude to talk to some woman every night for a whole hour on the phone.
Yeah, we ain't talking about that.
And tell her all the bad stuff that's happening in your relationship. That's something different. But if your partner has someone that they can confide in and that they can talk to, that gives them the support that they need outside of you, that's not biased to what's going on, by all means, allow that person to have that. Because you can't be everything. There's sometimes when I can vent to him, he can vent to me, and then there's sometimes when he's like, yo, you need to call your girl. You need to call this person. There's sometimes when I'm like, I think you need to talk to one of your guys about this, or you need to talk to one of your old homies about this one. Like, I'm here for you, but I feel like you still need to talk to some, just wrap their head around it. So, and then my thing is, and I say this, if your needs are not being fulfilled or met or whatever, without blaming, try to talk to your partner. And I say without blaming because you can easily blame all the failures and all the negative on your partner just because it's an easy scapegoat. Because it's just easier for me to say, hey, it's your fault I'm not happy today because you did That's not always the case. Don't blame. Because sometimes you're just as responsible for the bullshit that's happening than anybody else. So don't always blame.
Yeah. Don't be dismissive of the person's feelings.
Yeah. And be willing to apologize, too, when you have a situation when things fall through the crack or whatever the case may be. Be willing to say, you know what, my fault, misunderstanding, or whatever the case may be. It goes a long way. It really does. So, again, it is okay to say, I love you, but I'm not everything for you. And it's okay for you to tell me that back, and I'm okay with that.
No doubt.
I mean, this dude, I swear to God, this dude.
No doubt, I agree.
This dude is cool. This dude is killing me. So, again, y'all, I'm going back to the title. I'm just going to say this. I am going back to the title of this episode, and that is trying to meet all your partner's needs. It won't happen. It won't. I don't care what.
What about sexual needs?
your partner may not meet all your sexual needs, and if they don't, you got to communicate that. If there's things that you want your partner to do, or there's things that you don't want your partner to do, you have to be open and honest about that, and you can't be in your feelings. This is the biggest thing that I've learned in the last few years, is that don't take it personal if people want to make adjustments to things. It's not a bad thing to change. It's not a bad thing for adjustments.
No doubt.
So if you tell me, babe, I'm tired every Thursday, all we do is missionaries, can we switch it up a little bit? Yeah, let's talk that out, because I may be feeling the same way. I'm tired of this nigga just doing missionary.
Yeah, I'm gonna put your ass in a chokehold.
Right. Hey, they may like it, but you gotta communicate that, because you ain't gonna meet all the sexual needs, and that's when if it's an issue with the sexual needs, then that's when you talk and you figure out, well, what can we bring in? What can we bring in this mix to make it to your liking and to my liking, to where we both happy and we both thriving in our sexual life and things of that
everybody
nature.
Gotta agree.
And everybody gotta agree, whatever that is. If that's an extra person, that's an extra tool or extra toy, whatever the case may be, talk about it. Whole point, talk about it, because you will never be somebody's everything, and don't put that on your shoulders to be somebody's everything. You can't. Okay?
No doubt.
Anything else you got to say about this? Because you are my everything, but I can't be your everything.
I heard that.
Anything else?
No.
All right, y'all. Wrapping up this entree, getting into this dessert, fair or foul. Since we're talking about relationships, this fair or foul is kind of related to relationship stuff. So the first one is it fair or foul for one person to plan all the activities in a relationship?
Foul. I think you need to hear from all parties. They all playing, even though I do most of the motherfucking planning.
Because he's better at it. See this? Okay, can we please pause for a second with this one? In every relationship, with two people, however many people, everybody play their roles. Everybody may do something better in a relationship. In our relationship, I cook better. Obviously, I grocery shop better. Obviously, I stock up the house better. There's some things I just do better. But obviously, there's things that he's better at. He's better at cutting the grass. He's better at doing certain repairs. And he's better at planning our excursions and activities. Now, I put my input in. And when I do try to plan stuff, Mr. Adventure over here takes over and tell me what he likes to do and don't do. So I just let him plan the activities, y'all. Am I wrong for that? Am I wrong for that?
I don't do low budget stuff.
Am I wrong? See, low budget stuff. See what I'm saying? I say, let's just go camping somewhere else. Do something crazy. He gonna be like, no, let's go to Vegas. We're going to Vegas. We're going here. Like, I said, let's stay in this hotel. We staying in this hotel. Like, I can't compare. So why? I just let him plan everything. Now, when I want to do something, I tell him. Like, yo, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to go here. I want to go here. But for the most part, y'all, I let him plan. That's not wrong, is it? That ain't wrong. That's fair.
50-50, right?
That's fair. He say foul. I say fair. That's fair. How about this? Telling your partner your body count.
Nah, that's foul. I wouldn't want to know.
I think that's foul too.
I think that if you I don't know too many couples, unless you're in high school or something, but most people, grown-ups, they've brought their sexual behavior or activity to the relationship. So very few people are virgins. So you assume that this person has had sex with other people. Huh?
You could be close to a virgin.
You ain't close to it? The fuck? You close to being the hoe. I'm close to being the pimp. What kind of shit is that mean?
You be close to being a virgin.
You either is or you ain't. What the fuck?
You can still be close to being a virgin.
Close to being no virgin, man. But anyway, no, I don't care about no body count. I've never wanted to know. I've never asked. I just want to know you got diseases.
I'm about to say.
That's what
I think it's foul to even ask a person how many partners they've had before you. Only where I think that is relevant is some type of health issues going on or something like that, and you need to know exactly maybe.
You shouldn't. I wouldn't ask body count. I could care less.
Yeah, it's kind of foul.
Yeah.
How about this? Telling your partner you are not happy. Is that fair or foul?
Of course, that's fair.
Okay.
You got to communicate.
I'm
that
saying,
goes back to the first
some
episode.
partners don't want to be told that their partner is not happy. Like, some people, like, they don't want to hear, like, they got problems in their relationship. I know this for a fact. There's some people who carry on a relationship for years and never will stop and pause and acknowledge that their partner is not happy.
I couldn't imagine living in some shit like that.
Yeah, I've seen that. I saw
know,
that.
But that's wild.
I saw that.
You should be able to communicate.
You know what this reminds me of?
And then if they don't communicate verbally, they communicate through their actions by being distant, being cold.
This reminds me of some old school parents.
Yeah.
Who slept in separate bedrooms, shit like that. That's what that remind me of. Yeah. Too afraid to tell the other person that they're unhappy and don't want to be in that situation no more. So they just deal with it. They just live in misery for the rest of their life until the first person dies. Whoever died first.
That shit wild.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's real messed up. Yeah, fair or foul. Telling your partner something is wrong with them. So what I mean by this question is like, okay, your girl's smelly. She ain't smelling right. Or if your girl overweight, or if your guy overweight, or if they got a real fucked up attitude.
Well, as I always told you, I think that's fair. If you overweight and I'm gonna let your ass know. Not because I'm trying to body shame you. I want you to be around forever. So if I see you getting unhealthy, I'm gonna say something. And if we gotta work out together to get this moving, we gotta work out together to get this moving. But yeah, I'm gonna say something. If I see you participating in destructive behavior, drugs, gambling, just this dysfunctional behavior, I'm gonna say something. If you a bad parent, I'm gonna say something. That's just how I am. So I think you should be able to say so. That's fair.
I think it's fair too, but I think you have to also watch what you say and how you say it to your partner. Yeah, I think it's fair, but I do think that you have to err on the side of caution on how you tell them, when you tell them the appropriate conversation. Then if I'm telling...
Girl, what you was eating?
Yeah, you may say that, like, man, I
can smell
water. Them tacos coming up out of you. Or, yeah, we were saying you had some water.
I hope your coochie not stinking.
What? What?
I can imagine
that came out of left field. Okay, your partner having a bad attitude. That's definitely something you would have to tell your partner. You can't be around your partner.
I don't understand. You can't exist in a relationship if you not.
But I've seen this. But I've seen this where I've seen people coexist and be in relationships, and they can't criticize the other person. They can't critique the other person. They can't tell the other person they shit stink. Or it's a whole big to do. I think that's one of the things that I like about us is that we're able to tell each other, like, yo, chill out, bro.
Yeah.
I don't like that shit.
No doubt.
That ain't cool.
No doubt. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. So, hey, it is what it is. But, hey, you ain't gonna meet everybody's needs. You ain't gonna meet everybody's needs at work, family. You ain't gonna meet all your kids' needs. You ain't gonna meet all your job needs. You just ain't gonna meet everybody's needs. Okay, point blank. Period. Anything else, D.O.C.?
No. Just make it do what it do, baby.
Make it do what it do, baby.
That's it.
Make it do what it do. Alright, y'all. You know what to do. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Thank y'all for joining us. We are wrapping it up. Peace out. Got a couple more chapters to go.
No doubt. Hit that like and subscribe button.
Hit that like and subscribe button.